Hello everyone, welcome to PHP Machines. In this episode, we will create a mini shop. This will be a small online shopping system. So this shop will have 6 items. So if I click on cap, then you can read information about the cap, and it shows the price. And if you would like to buy this cap, then you can click on add to cart. Now this will add the item to your basket or cart, okay, and it will show the price. Now if you also like to buy for example gloves, and if you click on add to cart, it will also add gloves to your cart, and it will display the total as 500. Okay, so in order to create a system like this, a cart system, we need to use PHP sessions. So we'll learn how to use PHP sessions. First of all, let's understand what session is used for. Now, using sessions, we can save data in one page and retrieve the data in another page. Okay, for example, if I click on add to cart here, this page, okay, will add jeans. Okay, this page added jeans. Now the items that were added are available in cart. Okay, so we add items in one page and we retrieve the same data in another page. Okay, so sessions will allow you to do that. So in one page you can keep on adding data, in another page you can access that data without losing it. Okay, so first of all, let me show how session works, and then we'll start building our today's machine or today's mini shop. So first of all, let me log into PHP Infinity Free. So these are all the machines we have created so far. In the previous episode, we created group chat. Today, first of all, let's add our mini shop here. Okay, so for that, let's go inside. For today's machine, let's create our folder mini shop, and inside it let's create index.php, and as always let's just print hello for now. Now let's add our entry in our machine list page. So if we go to mini shop, it says hello. Okay, now first of all, let's understand how session works in PHP. So if I go to mini shop, first of all, let me create another PHP file called first.php, and also another PHP file called second.php. Now what we will do is, in the first PHP index.php, we will save some data in session. Okay, so in order to use session, we have to first call session start function in PHP. After that, in order to put some values data in session, we do it like this. Okay, so I use items as key. Now let's add a value of cat. Okay, cap. So what we did here is, in items variable, session variable, we added this value cap. Okay, now let's just print item added for now. Now we can access this variable, this session, in another PHP. Okay, so let's go to first.php and let's just print that session variable. Okay, like this. But we also need to remember to call session start function. In second also, let's add the same code. We need to write this session start at the first, okay, if we need to use session. So let's see if this works. If we go to index.php, it says item has been added. Now if we go to first.php, it says cap. Okay, so how did that work? If we go to second.php, it also says cap. So in index.php, we have saved our data, and in first.php, we accessed our data and we printed it. Okay, so that is how session works. Session can be used to store data across multiple pages. Now we are ready to create our today's machine, which is Minishop. So let's open Minishop. So today, first of all, let's build our this front page. So let me delete this first and second.php. Okay, now let's start with our doc type HTML. HTML has head and then body. So inside body, first of all, let's give a title of mini shop. Now that will create our heading. Now first of all, let's create this grid. Okay, so we can see here there are 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so first of all, let's create this structure. So these are actually divs, these are actually containers that has image inside. Okay, so for that let's create let's create a container and give it a name items, and let's now create sub containers and give it class name of item. Okay, now we need to, so first of all we are trying to create this first row, okay, that has these 3 elements. So inside head, let's give CSS style. Let's select our item container, and this should be a square container. So let's set width as 200 pixel and height as 200 pixel, and let's give it a border for now, 1 pixel solid black, so that we can see the border. So we can see our boxes are appearing. So now how can we put them in horizontal orientation? Okay, so like this. So for that, what we can do is we can set the display property of this container to inline block. Okay, so default will be block. If we make it inline block, then it will all come in the same line. Okay, so we have created the first row. Now let's create the second row. For that, we can just copy the above row. Okay, so we have created our grid. Now next thing, let's center it so that it is centered. For that we can create another top container and give it a name of container. Now what we'll do is we'll set the width of our top level container to 60% and set the margin to auto. Okay, that will now uh, if we give a border 1 pixel solid black, then it will be easy to understand. So we can see here the container is now 60%. Since we gave margin as auto, it centered this. Okay, and now let's also text align center. Now that will center align all these inside elements to the center. Okay, and also let's add our heading inside our container. Now we don't need the outer border, so let's remove this border. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is we need to add the images here. Okay, so for that I will quickly go inside here and then look at the open the image links. Okay, so I have opened the images, all 6 images like this. Now we need to put these image inside this box. Okay, now how we can do that is we will give another name. Let's call this item 1, let's call this item 2, so on. This is item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's set the background image property of this container. Okay, so first of all let's set the image for this box. So the way we will do is we use a background image property, which is css property. It has url, and let's give this url of this image. We also need to set the size as cover. Okay, that will make the image fit in the box. Okay, now let's save it and let's see. Our first box has appeared, but it is not in center. It isn't centered. Okay, so for that we use position. Let's set the position as center. Now it should be centered like this. So let's quickly copy this and duplicate it. Now this will be for item 2. So let's quickly add images for all other boxes. 3, 4. So you can see all our images are now appearing. Now let's move on. Next what we'll do is after we click on the cap, it should take us to our show page. Okay, and notice here we are passing id so that we can identify which product it is. Okay, so if I click on glance, it says id equals 2. If I click on jacket, it says id equals 3. Okay, now let's implement that. For that we need to make these tiles as links. Okay, for that let's so we need to wrap this tile in ahref, which will create a link. Okay, now the link should go to show.php, and we should pass in a parameter. Okay, so we passed in id as 1 since this is the first element. So let's duplicate this. And let's close. So what we are doing is we are going to show.php, but we are passing the id like this. Okay, so this will be id2, this will be id3, this will be id4, will be id5, and this will be id6. Now let's create show.php. So what we can do here is we can just echo the get parameter, which was id. Okay, just for now. Let's see, if I go to the cert, we are passing a get parameter of id. That's why it is printing that same thing. Okay, so id was 1, so it printed 1. So if you go to parents, it prints 2 because it gets that value from your get parameter. Okay, so this is how we fetch the get parameter, like this. Now instead of showing 2 or 3, we need to show this item. Okay, like this. So if I go to cap, it should show cap like this. So how can we do that? For that, first of all, let's copy this index code. So let's just copy this and let's paste it first of all here, and let's cut this block, and we will not need this grid. Let's remove it. Okay, I pasted the block here. Okay, so that will add styling. If I click on cert, it says 1. If I click on pant, it says 2. Now what should this show.php do? Now it should check the id and show the respective image. Okay, so how can we do that? So this is how we can do that. Now we will, instead of just printing this value, what we'll do is we will check like this. If the id was 1, then we need to show the image of the first product. Okay, similarly 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if the id was 1, else if the id was 2, the id was 3, the id was 4, if the id was 5, if the id was 6. So if the id is 1, then what do we need to do? We need to show image src equals actually we need to okay, first of all let's write the tag. The tag is img src, and here we need to give the link address of the image. Okay, now let's fetch our image addresses. So let's copy this. So let me copy this whole thing, copy, and let me paste it just temporarily. So let's just copy this link. Okay, now we need to echo this tag. Okay, so the way we do is echo and put it in a, okay, so we need to echo this tag. Okay, let's save it. Now let's see, if I click on cert, it shows the cert. Okay, if I click on pants, it shows pant. Now let's also fix the width that was used. So let's fix the width to 400 pixels. Just set the width for all. Okay, now let's if I click on globs will appear. If I click on glasses So now this much is working. The next thing, let's show our paragraph, let's show our amount, and let's create this add to cart button. Okay, for that what we can do is uh, we can just copy this and we can paste it after image. Okay, so let's create this p block and let's paste this paragraph. After that, let's create another p block and let's add in the price, 100 rupees. Okay, so now let's copy this, paste it here. Now we need to change our price. So this was 100, this is 200, this is 300, this is 400, this is 500, this is, wait, let's see if we go to search, it shows the description and it shows the price. Okay, now let's create this add to cart button. So right below this PHP block, now we can create our add to cart button. So for that we'll create a form, and this form will post somewhere and the method will be post, and this form will have a submit button. Okay, so input type equals submit, and let's give the name of add to cart. Let's see. So our button is here. Actually that was a mistake. So our add to cart button has been added. Now what is the function of this button? This button will post to a PHP file. Okay, it will post to, let's say, add to cart.php file, and this PHP file will be responsible for now adding this value to our session. Okay, like we saw earlier. Okay, so now we need to create our add to cart.php. Okay, this PHP will now add our value to our session. Now we also need to pass in a value. Okay, so now the way we'll pass the value is we'll use a hidden element, form element, to pass value. Okay, and let's name it item, and we'll pass in the ID of this item. Okay, for that something like this. Okay, now if we submit our form, it will pass this value. The key will be item. Okay, so but instead of hard coding it to 2, we need to pass in this thing. Okay, we need to pass in the ID like this. Okay, so how can we do that? For that we need the PHP block again, and here we can echo this thing. Okay, this is the ID that was extracted from our URL. Okay, this will give us the ID of this product. Okay, now let's save it. Now let's see, let's go to our main page. If I go to our search, right click view page source, so we can see here the value has been set as 1. Okay, if I go to pants, right click view page source, the value is automatically 2. How is that working? That is fetching the ID from here. Okay, and this block is just printing the ID here. Okay, if we go to our globs, it automatically sets the value as 3 like this. Okay, now when you submit our value to add to cart, it should extract this value, okay, item, so that it knows which ID it is. Okay, so now let's implement that. In our add to cart, the first thing we need to do is We need to always call session start to work with sessions. After that, we can now add our value. Okay, we can fetch the post item that will fetch the value from our hidden element. Okay, because the name was item, and we need to add this in our session variable. Okay, so $su session. Let's name the variable items. Okay, we need to do something like this. And for now, let's just echo print item added to cart. Okay, so now let's see if it works. If I click on our cert, if I click on add to cart, its item has been added, but it actually added that value to our session. Okay, and if I now add pants, if I click on add, it adds this to our session. Now instead of replacing our session every time, what we need to do is we need to add to our existing session. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just add to our session like this. Okay, and I will separate it with a comma. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now what happens if I click on add to cart? It will add this ID to our session variable. Okay, now if I add another item, let's say cap, it will add our ID 6 as well as the previous value. So it will save in this format. So something like this. Okay, it will save as this string. The value in the session will look something like this. Okay, so our adding to cart has been implemented. So if we go to pants, if I click on add to cart, it has added to our cart. If we can similarly add our gloves. Now the next thing, let's implement our cart. Okay, so if we click on cart, then it should show our items like this. For that, we need a cart.php. Also, we will need this icon, this cart icon. So first of all, let's add our cart icon. So to add our cart icon, if we go to W3 Schools Font Awesome icons, so these are all icons provided by Font Awesome. So if we search for cart, and so here is how we can add the icon, cart icon. Okay, so let me go to index.php. In order to use our Font Awesome icons, we need to copy this link and paste it in the head. Let's paste it here, and in order to use our cart icon, we just copy this block and let's add it here. Okay, in the heading. So our cart now appears here. Now let's now add a little bit of spacing inside here. Okay, in between. For that, what I'll do is I will create a span here. Span is a small container. Span is like div. It's a container, and the purpose of this container is now we can give all CSS style directly here. Okay, so what we can do is we can give a margin left of like 100 pixel. That will add now a little bit of margin in between, so we don't need this span actually. So we wrap this icon in the span and we added a margin left of 100. Okay, so let's give 400. Let's give 460. Give 440. Okay, that looks all right. Now let's create a link to go to our cart page. For that, first of all, let's create our cart page. So cart.php, and now the icon should be a link href to our cart.php. Okay, now in cart, let's first of all let's just print cart page for now. If you click on our cart, it says cart page. Okay, now instead of showing cart page, let's print our session variable for now. So let's start our session, and let's just echo our session for now. Okay, so that we will see what our session has. So let's just print our session variable items. See, so if we go to our cart, it says 223. Okay, so how did that happen? These are the IDs that were stored in our session. Okay, so if I click on the cap and if I set add to cart, and now 6 has been added. Okay, now if I add the jacket whose ID is 4, so now it shows 4. Okay, so all these IDs have been fetched, okay, from our cart.php. So the session variable actually contains this string. Okay, so now instead of showing these numbers, we need to actually show our products like this. Okay, so how can we do that? What we'll do is we'll now break this string, and then we'll display our image. Okay, so how can we do that? First of all, instead of now printing, let's just store this in a variable items. Now we will break this string at comma. Okay, so for that, what we can do is we can use explode function, PHP function, that will break our string at comma. We are breaking at comma, and we are breaking items. So now this will give us an array of these numbers. Now we can loop. So to loop an array, we can use for each parse as ID. Okay, since this is ID, since each number is an ID, now here we can finally, what we can do is we can check if the ID is 1, then do something like that. Okay, now if the ID is 1, we need to display again our image of the first product. Okay, so for that, let me just copy the code from here again. Okay, since we are doing a similar thing, so now in our cart we can do something like this. Okay, but instead of this, we need to check our ID like this. So if our ID is 1, it will show the image of the first. If our ID is second, third, like that. Now let's see if this works. Also, we don't need all these information. Okay, so let's just remove all these. Let's just show our image for now. Let's see if this works. If we go to our card, instead of showing the numbers, it is now showing us the pictures. Okay, so let's see if I add our glass, then it should also show glass. Okay, if I add the cap, it should show the cap. Okay, so cap has been added. Now let's add a little bit of styling. Okay, so for that I'll just copy our code from our show. Just copy this code, and in cart let's just paste it here. We don't need this block, so let me remove that block, and let's just remove this form, and let's copy this block. Now let's make it appear like this. Okay, so this is a table. So let's create this items in a table. For that, what we'll do is right outside here we'll start our table tag. Okay, and inside table here we will actually add table row. Okay, so tr td actually we don't need this. We now close our first column, and in the second column let's add the price td, and let's close our tr. Okay, so now let's just copy this and paste it here, here, here. Also let's the items are a little smaller, so instead of width 400, let's set the width as 100. Also we need our tr and td tags here, right? Let's see if this improves our styling. So if we go to our card, now it shows in a table format. Okay, like this. We can also see it also displays our totals. Okay, so the total should sum all these numbers and display our total at the bottom. So for that, let's create our we will need our total variable that will sum our prices. Let's create our total variable here, and inside each condition, so if the id was 1, we need to add our total. Okay, so this was 100. Okay, so the first if the item is if the id is 2, that is our second product, we need to add 200 to our total. Okay, so we need to add 300 for third, we need to add 400 for fourth, and we need to add 500. Finally, we need to display our total. So in order to display, we just echo, we just create a new tr, and let's create a column, and let's give it total, and here we now print the total. Let's see if this works. We can see our total. Okay, actually this should be inside our PHP block. We can see our total is this. Okay, our total appears. Now let's center our column table. So let's create a container, and let's give it a class of items. And now let's add styling. What we can do is we can set margin left as auto, and margin right as auto. Okay, so that is how you can center our table. So this will now center our table. Now finally let's add our these two buttons. Okay, so these are so if we click on add more, it should go to our index page, and if I click on order now, it should now complete our order. Okay, for that let's create our two buttons below here. right below our table. So for that we will create sref. So this should go to order.php, order now, and we need another button or link, index.php. So this will be add more. Okay, so now if we like to add more products, then we just click add more. This will take us to our page. So if I click on jacket, if I click on add to cart, now our jacket should be added here, okay, at the end. Now the final thing left is the order now. Okay, so if we click on order now, it should complete our order, it should clear our session. Okay, so if I click on order now, it says your order has been received. Now if I go to our cart, the session has been cleared. Okay, so no items display here. So the way we can do that is, let's create our order.php. Let's create our order.php. Now the final thing what the order.php will do is, it will now destroy our session. Okay, it will clear our session. That will remove all our items. So let's start with session start. So the way we do that is onset, session onset, and session destroy. Okay, that is how you destroy the session. And you can let's see if this works. So here is our cart. If I click on order now, okay, now the session has been destroyed. Now let's see, let's go to our cart again. You can see the items have been removed. Okay, if I click on add more, you can add in our item. Now only few things are remaining. For example, if I click on sort, if I click on add to cart, right now it says item added to our cart. Okay, but instead of that, we can just redirect to our main page. Okay, so the way we can do that is, in add to cart, instead of printing this, what we can do is we can redirect to our index page. Okay, so to redirect, we can use the header function and give it the value of location, and let's give the URL of our main page, which is this. Okay, give this, and we can just exit. Okay, that will now redirect after adding to our session. Okay, let's see if this works. So if I now add this item, it added and it redirected us to our main page. Okay, now let's go to our cart. It has added our item. Let's click on add more. If we add a cap, it has added our cap. Now if we click on order now, it has completed our order. Okay, now instead of that, let's just copy our cart code and let's paste it in our order, and let's remove our table. Now let's just put this block here. Okay, and let's just print here with an h1 tag, order has been completed. Okay, now let's see if this works. So if we go to our main page, if we click on parents, add to cart, and if we go to our cart, our item has been added. Now if we let's add one more, let's add our cap. So we have two items. Now if we click on order now, it says order has been completed. Okay, now if we go to our cart again, it says total 0. The items have been cleared, the session has been cleared. So in order to keep the video a little bit shorter, I have left adding styling. If you add little bit of styling, you can make your shop look like this. But our main functionality is complete, our shop is working. So let's add this. We can go to our cart and we can order. Okay, so in this way we can implement our shop. In this episode, we learned about PHP sessions and how we can use sessions to create online shops. Hope this video was helpful, informational. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. In the next episodes, we'll create other interesting, useful machines. For now, this much. Thanks for watching.